right, Luca Nation, you got your PWCC weekly report brought to you by Lucas Tigers and Bronzo Mai, episode, I believe, 916. And as you guys know, bunch of auctions going on, a bunch of shows going on. If you're running a show, if you're at a show and you're listening to this, we say what's up. I hope you enjoy it. It's definitely a time in the market now where there's more liquidity, more action. Definitely the month of January, and let's see if that carries over. Here we are, February 4th, recording this. Cage, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I'm excited. I think what we should do in this weekly episode is let you take the Lamborghini out for a spin. Let me sit shotgun. Let me, comment on your driving. I'd say a backseat driver, but there's no backseat in the Lamborghini. I was trying to make it like a fancy car. Because PWCC, not everything they try is going to be a home run, but at least they're trying stuff. There's some new rules with this week's weekly. We can get into that a little bit, and we can talk that over. But also, they've got new people doing new things. It's shiny, happy people. They have somebody who's doing a recap weekly vintage. So I know they have another content person who's, stepping in, stepping on toes, stepping wherever they want to step, and doing like a live show, I think, during the auction. So they're going to focus on vintage. So we don't have to pay too much attention to vintage. So it's not overkill there. I know they have a young lady who's doing Pokemon, so we don't have to talk about Pokemon cards. Previously we talked about sort of, I think, what PWCC would have wanted us to talk about. Now I get to sit shotgun, let you drive, and you get to talk about the cards you want to talk about. Because chances are the cards you want to talk about have nothing to do with Pokemon or vintage. Those are the cards that other people will be talking about. So I'm excited. I'm excited to sit here and tell you why you shouldn't buy or why you should buy the cards that you're looking at. Let's run.
First card.
You got
buy
it.
or not.
See, so perfect. Right there.
PSA
Kobe.
9 Kobe.
Perfect.
And
Kobe.
what stuck out to me about this card, it's not the Kobe card. You get this Kobe card all the time, 10s, 9s, 8s. Mm-hmm. But I actually went super vintage, and this one has the earliest
I love the
PSA
label.
slab.
I love the label.
I thought you would. Buy or not. Would you pay the same price or a little bit more for the old label?
So this is a new thing for me, and people are going to think I'm insane, but I would pay a little more and not switch that. I'm looking for old labels. They're getting rarer.
As we go vintage, right? We love this vintage term.
Oh, yeah.
I thought the vintage of the grading companies would be super cool. And there's a few more. So this is the Kobe. This is Kobe's standard paper rookie. It's the card you see everywhere.
Standard paper typewriter label. I love it.
Exactly. One of the, what is this? 100. This is 1,690,000th graded. So early days, PSA's graded a ton of cards. Same thing goes for these two cards. So we have the 1955 Topps Sandy Koufax PWCC S Superior, gorgeous card. He looks like a baby here. He looks like he literally just got bar mitzvahed. And you got the old school SGC label.
Yeah.
And for me, I love the old school SGC label. So gorgeous copy. And then the Mantle 1956, and then also the old SGC label. If you have to pick one of them, of those three, the Kobe, the Mantle, or the Koufax bar mitzvah card.
I mean, come on. The Kobe's $100 card. The other ones are thousands of dollars. So you can get 50 Kobe's for the price of someone for the other two. So, I love those cards.
Kobe's a dime a dozen. You get like 40 of those cards every auction.
So I believe that the current team of SGC is a different team than when you had those labels. And so I think what's funny is that you think of PSA in a certain way, right? You think of PSA like, all right, well, did they get harder with their grading? Did they get harder with their grading? And you don't really hear that brought too much up with SGC. I don't know whether or not they got harder with their grading. I can share one story, and it would give me a little bit of a pause. I know SGC has always been great with their vintage grading, and you've pulled up two cards from the 50s, so I'm sure they're perfectly fine. And I don't think those two cards are cards that are, heavily trimmed, heavily altered, you name it. But I once purchased I'm going to call it modern. It was a 1993 card. I once purchased a card in an SGC slab just like that, 98. Basically, they're 10. Not the perfect 10, not the pristine 100, but a 98 10. And I cracked it out and sent it to another grader, and the other grader said that it was trimmed. And I sent it back to the current team at SGC and said, okay, guys, this was the card that I just cracked out. I probably shouldn't have. Sounds sort of like a lawsuit that we have, going on right now, right? And I said to
You're a
SGC,
pioneer. Our
and
whole
they
legal
said-
system is based on precedent.
they said, no, we're looking at the card and it's definitely trimmed. And I said, guys, here's the slab, here's the number, here's the everything. Like I'm not a trimmer per se, but obviously they can't trust me. For all they know, I'm in my basement with a scissor, and some scissorp, and I'm trimming cards and doing my thing. But yeah, so when I see those green labels, maybe it just brings back like that. I can't drink cinnamon schnapps because when I pledged my fraternity, I drank a whole bottle on induction night, and now I can't taste it. I did.
Did
some
you
bad
drink
things.
any before today's episode?
An entire bottle, and then I ate an entire pepperoni pizza. And a couple hours later, everybody saw the whole pizza and the whole bottle of cinnamon schnapps back on the floor. So I don't drink that anymore. It was, it was no good. So
Let's keep moving. So I don't know what Cage is talking about, but I'll throw him a fastball right
What do
down
you
the
mean?
middle.
What am I talking about? I'm talking about be careful with the old SGC labels because maybe the current team will look at it
Same
differently.
said for old PSA labels.
Same, and I said that. Same can be said
Every
for old
card you
PSA
buy,
labels.
the grade is just a data point. I wouldn't.
Well,
go to
look,
the full bank.
Dave Pack, our friend, our wrestling friend, he posted online. It's been impossible for him in 5 years to upgrade his registry, his set collecting with PSA, and add any more gem mint cards in 5 years because gemming a card has gotten harder. I think it was easier for him to get gem mint 10s on his wrestling cards when he was the only one submitting them and nobody cared. But now everybody's looking for $10,000 Andre the Giant cards, and all of a sudden cards that may have been a 10 5 or 8 years ago aren't 10s anymore. So
Yeah, but what might happen is people start buying PSA 10s of those cards, and in 5 years they go BGS 10 shopping.
Maybe.
The landscape changes all the time. Maybe SGC in 6 years is the number one player. The
Yeah.
grading landscape changes. Like
this is true.
if I've learned one thing about the hobby, the grading landscape changes.
I still
use
have
these
that
com-
cracked SGC slab, by the way. If you want me to take it, I can go get it.
Yeah, don't go get it. I have a question. 2 Michael Jordan cards. I look every single auction. I go Michael Jordan. I go high bid, and I just see what Jordan cards are available in this
That's a
auction.
cool one.
So there's 2 that I've never seen before. One is the 1987 MarketCom Sports Illustrated Michael Jordan. Front is kind of like this Faxman Seal signature, him dunking, tongue out, nothing on the back. It's sitting at $4,100. I've never seen this card. And speaking of old slabs, this is an old Beckett slab. So tell me if you've ever seen this card. And the second one is the Slam Jam Nike poster, PSA 10. There's only 2 of these ever made. There's only 2 PSA 10s sitting at $925. Have you
Can
seen
you
either
zoom
of
in?
these?
I've never seen this. Is that Dominique Wilkins or is it 2 Jordans? Is it
It's
Slam
Jordan
and
dunking
Slam?
on Jordan.
Jam and Slam. What the heck
It's a
is
sick
that?
card.
I know.
It's a
I've never seen that.
1990 Nike poster.
No, I've never seen that in my life. That's pretty crazy. And is there anything on the back or is it a blank back?
Blank back.
Look at that. No, never seen it. That's pretty cool
two-
looking. I've never seen it.
2 cards take a look at 1990 Nike poster, PSA 10.
The poster I've seen. There's proofs of that one. The poster's pretty cool. The other one, the one that's in the back at 9.5. I've seen that before. Yeah, this one I've got the MarketCom, the Sports Illustrated one. This one I've seen.
Cool. So,
That's pretty
so
cool.
take a quick look at those. I'll keep going through my. I favorited a ton in this weekly auction, so I'll keep going through.
A lot of Jordan.
This was what, not a lot of Jordan, but a lot of good Jordan.
Okay.
I think the thing is, people, I don't know if they realize, Jordan has an insane collector base, but Jordan has an insane collector base specifically in 10s, in BGS 10s or PSA 10s, because Jordan did basically live through the junk wax era.
Correct.
So there's a ton of his cards. You get a Scoring Kings card. There's a PSA 8 version, a PSA 8 in this auction. It's like $700-800, whereas the Scoring Kings 10 is a $13,000, $14,000, $15,000 card.
Yeah. Wasn't the rare
This-
card. 1 per box, those Scoring Kings came.
So if I know anything, numbered high grade Jordan from the 90s kills. And here's
Yep.
one. You got a BGS 10, numbered 76 out of 2000. Upper deck high dimensions sitting at $750. This is a super sick card. BGS Pop 104.
Nice. One of the earlier numbered, inserts. I like it.
This is now moving on. Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin' Go Nuts.
Kobe.
I still can't believe they made this card. People love it. I would say this 8 is nicer than a lot of 10s that have yellowed that I've seen. And if you're in the market for this card, you don't want to pay a premium for the PSA 10. You have a PSA 8 that's pretty recently graded. So I always, with the cards like this that you know are pop controlled, you know have huge collector bases.
That this one
I
might have been a
always got-
9 or a 10 couple
Correct.
like a year ago. Before you jump, a Jordan, before you jump off the Jordans, because I'll stick with you, can you pull up one Jordan for me? I know this is going to take you off, and I know I'm grabbing the wheel for a second,
fine.
but it's another 90s numbered Jordan insert in PSA 10 that's actually low price, and it's one you just don't see that often. I think it's only 4 PSA 10s, so I'm probably spoiling this for some Jordan collector who thought they were going to scoop in on this. But if you put 1998 Black Diamond Jordan, it'll pop up. It's a really cool looking card. It's a PSA 10. It's a black diamond triple Michael Jordan numbered out of 1500 in PSA 10. You just don't see it. There's 4 PSA 10s of this, and it's a numbered card. So it's not one of those
It's
cards like
pretty cool actually, because when you do that, not to cut you off.
Yeah, no, show
There's
it.
actually
Share
a PSA 7.
Yep.
Fine, it's not a 10, but
Yep.
that one's numbered as well at a 1500. It's sitting at $11. It's a PSA 8. I apologize.
So pull
Sitting at
those up if
$11.
you can. Share that so
I'm
that
not
people can
sharing.
see, because that would be really cool. Like, like if you just wanted to get one of these, there are 2 in this auction. You see the markup for a 10, but the 10's only 3. Look how cool that card is with the black jersey, kind of like a gold foil to it. Like, that's a cool looking card. But you're right. There's another one, another pose of it for $11. Pretty crazy.
And if you guys don't know, like this 98 Black Diamond, there's a single, a double, a triple, and I think a home run, Cage. Is that right?
I don't know if there's a home
You've
run.
never seen these?
No, I've never seen these cards before.
Yeah, right
Never.
next to it, guys. There's a Black Diamond single. So
98, I was in law school.
you weren't collecting cards
wasn't,
back then?
No, it was Beanie Babies. I had shifted. I still had my cards,
Okay.
but Beanie Babies
Well,
were paying the bills.
If you wait till the end of this episode, we have a huge announcement. Cages, if an auction doesn't go his way in this next week, he will be officially retiring.
I'm gonna retire. I'm
And we
retiring.
will be doing a weekly NFT show.
I'm retiring.
All of you guys will subscribe. Share.
That's right.
Cage, I don't remember the price, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
really. I struggle doing research with these vintage cards. I would urge you guys to. But here's a 1973 Topps Roberto Clemente card.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure a PSA 10 of this sold recently.
Yeah, for like $100,000.
Correct. So you have a PSA 8, SGC 8, I apologize, PWCC I appeal. One thing to note, and I think we've seen it talked about more, but a lot of Roberto Clemente's cards say Bob Clemente. And apparently, story goes, is he loved his name as Roberto. And I think there's only 3 years of cards where his name is spelled out fully. This is one of the years. The PSA 10 just sold for 100,000+. You have a SGC 8, really nice copy, sitting at $330.
Yeah. So, I mean, I love that card, the 73 Clemente. It's not a rare card per se, because it's just the regular base card of his. I'm 99%. I'm 99% sure that's his last card. I think he passed away right after that card. I don't think there's any other cards after that. I think that's his last Topps card, which adds a little special to it. There's not a lot of PSA 10s, so obviously the set collectors, the guys who are building sets, the registry guys, that they chase the high grades on those. That card that you just showed, SGC 8, is every bit as nice as several
Really
PSA
nicely
8s
centered
that I've
on the
seen.
front as well.
Really good looking card. Yeah, so I like that. Go ahead.
There is 2 Topps Chrome sets, if we're going back in time, that really kind of changed the game, so to speak. So there's 96, I think that's first year Topps Chrome, and then there's LeBron's year. And if we're talking just thinking about not just LeBron, but that entire class, Melo, Bosch, Wade, LeBron, I think they're going to be linked together for eternity, similar
Darko.
to, Darko, correct. You have a little bit of the heel there. Now he's an
Carmelo.
apple farmer. Carmelo, is he loved? Where is he rated? Is he top 25? He's never won anything. So that class is going to live in infamy. And I think the best way to invest in that class is by going for the wax. And you also have a sealed wax 2003 Topps Chrome sitting at $8,000. So if you're not in the market for cards, you're looking for wax, you got an opportunity right here that I think is pretty cool. Any cards before I keep rocking, because I want to move to Kyrie and where you think he ends up, because he does have a sick Kyrie's rookie year and Flawless's first year are aligned, 2012. And he has a beautiful auto in this auction sitting at basically $300. But I want to hear, do you have any thoughts on the trade? Do you think it matters? Is Kyrie cardboard irrelevant? Does he go to the Lakers? Any thoughts, opinions, takes?
On Kyrie and Lakers or one more card? I should go with
Kyrie and Lakers.
Okay, so I don't know whether or not the Lakers can make it happen just from a match standpoint, because I don't know whether or not they have the ability. I mean, you'd have to move Russ basically to make this happen, and I don't think Russell Westbrook's going to the Nets. I don't think the Nets are doing that. So I just don't think it's a pairing that could happen. I think you're probably more likely to see, the Lakers make a deal with somebody like the Jazz, where you're talking about maybe like Beasley, who is a really nice outside shooter, high 30s and from the
So you
from
think Kyrie
three.
stays?
No, I'm not saying he stays at all, but I just don't know the pairing. You might need a third team involved to work out
So
him. Go ahead.
I have a conspiracy theory.
Shoot.
If Russ doesn't go to the Nets for whatever reason, is it because Durant vetoes that trade and he doesn't want to play with Russ?
No. I mean, listen, the fun part
Why
about
would
it
they
is
not bring Russ back then?
to
That
where?
team is made for Russ.
To the Nets?
Brooklyn. That team is made for Russ. You have the chemistry with Durant. You got a bunch of shooters around. That's the perfect team for Russ.
I think it actually would make more sense for Russ. I just don't see the Nets doing it. I don't see the
But
Nets
why?
doing it.
You're going to lose Kyrie for nothing.
I'm not saying that they're going to not trade him. I just don't think that you may be right now, which is funny. You call Russell Westbrook kind of like horrible, 6-man, the whole 9 yards, and you compared Josh Allen, the fraud, to Russell Westbrook. That's never going to live down. It's always going to live in infamy, which means Russell Westbrook's a fraud. So if you view him that way, and he is on the Lakers, which is an under 500 team, a 6-man who can't even crack the starting lineup, why should the Nets, trade that for Kyrie when they could probably, I think, get better from another team?
Okay. I don't think it would be a straight trade for Russ.
No, I don't think it can be. But the Lakers don't.
I don't-
They have like one draft pick left, one top draft pick in like the next decade, and it's like eons from now. It doesn't help Durant. You know what I mean? It doesn't help get a younger player next year for this team. And the Nets are looking at this team saying, all right, well, what gives us the best chance to win now? Right? Ben Simmons is not it. Right? But if they're going to be looking to move and add a piece, don't you add a piece to Kyrie and KD now?
Russ and AD for Kyrie.
I mean, now you're talking about fantasy leagues. Now that's like a fantasy league trade.
That's crazy.
I mean, the Lakers aren't going to trade AD and Russ. And you think the Nets give KD and Kyrie to get back Russ and AD? No.
No, I don't think KD's going anywhere. I actually think Kyrie going to the Lakers and Russ going to the Nets is an upgrade for both teams. Because when you start working with people, when you build a business, when you build a culture, you sort of feel which people are fully invested, which people are half invested, 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out, and which people are fully out. I would say Kyrie's the guy who's had 1 foot out for the longest time. You bring Russ in, Russ and KD. This is if KD would sign off on it. That's a big if. I don't know what goes on in the locker room. I don't know if KD's favorable. But if you remember, KD and Russ, they're older now. That was a Western Conference team. That was a Western Conference championship team. That was a team that almost beat the Warriors. That's a pairing, that flash and that beautiful stroke that KD has. That's a good pairing. So
I just don't think the contracts work. I don't think the money works. Like, you have to have matching money.
I
don't think it
agree.
works. So
I think that's a win. Let's keep moving.
Yeah.
Any cards you want me to spotlight?
Yeah. So I guys, the run up in Jackie Robinson prices has been a little bit nuts, right? It's been a little crazy, and I don't want to recommend people spending all kinds of crazy money, because if you just look back a couple of years, the cards have they've really gone up, which is fine. I mean, he's finally getting his due. One of my favorite cards. I mean, I have 2 cards of his that I really like: the 48 Leaf, which I love the yellow background, but the 52 Tops, which is a nice contrast to the 52 Tops mantle with the blue background, has the red background. There's an intriguing one in this auction, the 52 Tops Jackie Robinson, in an SGC holder, but it's authentic. And I don't know why it's authentic. I don't know if it was trimmed. I mean, it doesn't say altered. I mean, it's got an A on it. You can take a look at it. But it is a really nice looking copy, which, I guess, look, if you trim the card, maybe you make it look nice. But look at the centering on it, the whole deal. It looks like, if you could pull it up and share it, if you find it, the folks can see what it looks like. It's a Jackie Robinson. There it is right there with the A.
It's A because it's crinkled right down the middle.
Yeah, but that you would give it a number grade. I mean, it's got great centering. You have a crease on it, you know. That
You got, it
alone.
looks like you got two creases right here, right across his forehead, and
But
then
even that, you know, usually you get a number grade for that. You don't get authentic. I mean, unless the person decided, all right, it's going to grade a 3, I'd rather have it in authentic, which I guess is possible. The description doesn't exactly say, you know, what's going on, but look at the centering on it. And a lot of these, when you have good centering like this, you get like more of a diamond cut to it, more of like a diagonal, and there's no diagonal cut to it.
yeah, but
Look at
look
it.
at the back. So you're saying you'd rather have a 1 than an authentic?
100%. 100%. 100%. I'd rather know
Sorry, I'm
what the
asking
number grade is.
stupid questions.
No,
I don't
but
buy
that card
those
right
cards.
there, what's funny about it is
It has a stain on it. My Chrome cards never has stains on it. Stain free.
he's joking, folks. But if you look at that card, just the centering on it, the coloring on it, the registration on it, I mean, it's a really nice looking card. Talk about eye appeal. That card has all the eye appeal in the world. Yeah, it's got a little
Explain to me why you'd rather have a 1 than a authentic.
because authentic right now in the marketplace carries connotations that lead people to start digging through that description to find out why it was given an authentic grade. You know, and what I would do next if I were looking to buy this card is I would click on SGC's website and find out what the definition of their authentic is. And does it include something that allows a card to be altered in some way, right? Or if it were, quote, altered and trimmed, would they have to write that on the slab, right? So already, I think there are a lot of buyers, and maybe someone will get this for a bargain because of that. Who knows? But I think there are a lot of buyers who see that, don't see a number grade, and say, all right, you know what? I'm out on that one. I don't buy cards that are, you know, authentic, you know? But there might be somebody, and this is the reason why it caught my eye, who putting in an SGC slab, at least you know it's not fake, which you have to worry about with 52 Topps cards. And it's not only is it not fake, but it's got great centering, it's got great coloring, and you can see it's not a perfect card. It's got a little, you know, a couple of lines on it, but the lines you have to really look at it to see. That's a really nice card, which would sell for a lot more money with that kind of centering and that kind of color.
Even as a 1 or 1.5.
No, but that card, if you look at it from I don't want to say a distance, right? But if it were art and you're putting it up, you know, a couple feet away from somebody with that centering, that coloring, and you had a 6 on the card, until you get up close to it and start inspecting it, no one would bat an eyelash. And in a 6, it would grade significantly higher. So normally, you see cards like that kind of coloring, that kind of, you know, centering of the 52 Topps in significantly higher grades than that. Is what I'm saying. From an eye appeal standpoint. Right now, eye appeal in this market is basically centering for vintage.
Agreed. Well, so that's a buy. That's right up your alley.
Yeah,
You should
that's
be
why
bidding on that card.
that's why I pointed it out. I like it. Somebody who doesn't care about the, you know, the A is going to get a card that looks real nice. And I
Do
know
you
there are
care
people-
about the A as a buyer? Use Cage.
in SGCA, no, especially because SGC now is writing altered on their slabs when a card is altered. So in a new SGC slab like that, probably not. I think
Sorry
I'd
to
be
put you
okay
on the
with it.
spot.
No,
I got to
mean,
put you on the spot again because I
Shoot.
guarantee you don't know what's going on here. Are you ready? So you have the first ever mystery pack brought to you by Joe Montana. So you have the
JM,
Joe
Joe
Montana,
Montana. Look at
Master Collection mystery pack. So what you guys have here, this is incredible for $360. You have a game worn on card auto, hand numbered 13 out of 15 in a PSA 10. Okay,
Why didn't they just make 16 of them?
because of his jersey 16. That's what Cage is referencing.
Yeah, why
You're
did they make
100%
16?
right.
Why don't they just do one more?
Cage, these companies don't hire from Harvard and MIT and Yale and Drexel. We've told you. And the State College of New York City for you. But anyway, game used, Master Collection, Joe Montana signed. But then it also comes with this little box. I have no clue what's in this box. It's taped. Maybe the card was in the box.
Yeah, that was in the mystery pack. So
the
it's no
mystery
longer a
box-
mystery. It's just that's what was in the mystery pack. That was the mystery for somebody back in the day. There's no more mystery. You just get the sealed pack. It's sort of like if I sold you a pack that was already opened and included the wrapper.
Well, that's better than I mean, that's a game worn, hand signed, hand numbered in a PSA 10 for $360 of before Brady went to
Oh, he was the GOAT. Before Brady
He
played,
was
and
the
even
GOAT.
for a couple years ago, this is the GOAT. You know, used
So
to have a
you-
conversation still between the two of them.
Sick card. So, guys, another thing to keep in mind: there is a cracked ice PSA 10 Mahomes in the premiere that just started. You have a horizontal one, and I don't
Yep.
know who writes the rules here. It's not me, so don't come yelling. But you have his cracked ice horizontal out of 25. Decent auto. All his autos are a little bit tough because he has the loops on it. But in a BGS 9 10 auto, sitting at 15,500. This is not a card I would be bidding on right now, but just interesting because of the timing. This is in the weekly. The other one is in premiere. Cage, should I keep rolling?
Yeah, man, keep rolling. I love it. I mean, Joe Burrow is now a time to buy Joe Burrow cards after he was eliminated last week.
Now,
this
we
the
all
time?
know there's probably 500 one of one Joe Burrows. But if we go, okay,
Might be
National
more.
Treasures one of one, you have Prism one of one, Select Optic. I would say those are and a Kaboom or Insert, whatever. But this is a one of one rookie card from his Select. It is die cut, but it's sitting at $1,275. And this is a type of card that if you're in the market for Burrow, you want a one of one. It's a nice one of one sitting at $1,200. I have two more cards and then a question for you, okay? So I was at the Dallas show. Cage said he's sitting co-pilot. He's probably sleeping. He's probably sleeping when he's sitting in shotgun, but that's okay. So I was at the Dallas show, and I found out from an Asian collector how
Ooh.
much the Asian market loves these impeccable jersey numbered cards. So
Yeah.
Curry has this. They don't just do them to jersey number; they also do them to like career high.
Yeah, they have numbers. I opened the box of this once, and I got a Zach Levine, and it was a career high number on it. And I remember opening it in a box break. This was, I don't know, 2018,
Years ago.
2019. And people are like, oh, that's awesome. And I'm like, who cares? It's Zach Levine. They're like, no. It's the impeccable numbers. That's a big card. I was like, and then I sold it for way more than I paid for my break. I was like, this is amazing. I had no clue. So you're right.
Yeah, so I'll give you an example. Like the Curry jersey, the Curry career high 55 sold for like $9,000.
Wow.
For example, most of Curry's autos sell for 1,500 to 2,000. He signs a lot, so people love this set. This is a card that I think Cage is going to love. I think you guys are going to love. It's one of those Jerry Rice collectible cards that's not going to break the bank. So you have 95 finest refractor, which I believe was the first year of football refractor, right? So 93 was basketball. 95 was the first year of football of finest.
No, there
refractors?
was 1 year before it. It was 94
1 year
before it. Yep,
Appreciate that. So
of course.
PSA 1 of 8, there's only 110 sitting at $145. Last card, what the F is this, Cage? So
What is
you've
this,
got
black?
Yes,
Yeah,
you have
Upper
a
Deck Black, yeah.
2013 UD Black Scenes booklet signatures Michael Jordan. So it's his autograph. It looks like the director's cut film that you would use to like if you were a director like in the old school days. Sitting at $950. Have you seen that card? What is that card? What is that card?
Upper Deck Black is kind of cool, man. But clearly that's not from his playing days. And, it's one of those, I put it, like, I mean, it's a cool card, it's an interesting card, but I lump it in with sort of like all of the Fleer Retro and like there are Goodwin autos and, the Upper Deck products that come out that some of them have him playing golf. Some of them have him in street clothes and a lot of them have college. And I think that one, is that him in North Carolina?
UNC.
Because Upper Deck doesn't have, they have a license with Jordan, but they don't have it with the league. So you can't really put him in, his league stuff. So it's cool, but it's definitely, there are, segments of Jordan collectors that wouldn't even look at that. Cool card, though.
Might be the best episode I've ever done. I've basically navigated you guys
Through the Lamborghini
treacherous
driving.
weekly auction with thousands of items. I've pointed out
Navigated you
items
guys.
from the 60s and the 70s, Cage's high school days, to my high school days, the 2000s, to ultra modern. I've navigated through Jordan, Kobe, to Roberto Clemente, Mantle, Mr. Koufax. Anything you
good,
want to touch
man.
on before we wrap it up?
You did very good. I mean, listen, are there any things to buy timing wise, right? Is now a time to be looking at, I don't know. In the beginning of the season, SGA was everybody talked about. There's some crazy SGA cards in this auction. Is now not the talk to me. Yeah, please.
What happens?
This is your jam, man. You're the modern
Yeah,
guy.
listen.
You're the basketball guy. Talk to me. Because there's a really
82
nice
games is a
SGA
lot
in
of
this one,
games.
right?
Well, I've been thinking about SGA, HGA too, both of them. I want to buy out SGA and dump HGA. Just kidding. SGA had to carry this team the entire season. His usage is, I don't know how they measure usage because I just watch Luka and then SGA back to back. It used to be Luka and Trey, but Trey got Deontay.
This is a team you watch every game of. He loves Oklahoma City, guys.
OKC. I love how SGA plays. Giddy's so funny, man. Giddy, I think he still thinks he's at LA Fitness. I just watch him. He's so slow, but he's actually very effective. But anyway, they lost Dort. I think this team kind of regresses to the mean based on their talent. And I think the second half of the season is less SGA and much more perhaps like a Donovan Mitchell, who's older. You guys got to understand the young guys use the early part of the season to where effort might be a differentiator, where the vets understand about pacing and timing themselves for the second half, right? So the first half, how it works is about 52 games, all-star break, and then you wrap up the season. I think SGA regresses where someone like a Donovan Mitchell might be someone to take a look at for that's going to have a really good second half of the season, and they're going to be playing meaningful games as we head into playoffs. So that's my thoughts on SGA.
So you talked about Chrome because you talked about the box. I have one card that I hope I'm not like spoiling for you. It's some card you were thinking about buying. It's an expensive card, but it's one I'm curious if, in the pantheon of Kobe, in the hierarchy of where you'd put like, is this a card you need to have? Is the pose, is the set, is it enough? You talked about 96 Chrome obviously is a huge one, but that 03 Topps Chrome box, right? You gave it as a potential buy. I think it was $8,000 plus buyer's premium and the whole deal. And we talked about all the rookies who were in that, and the rookie class that you can get. And we talked about how there's, LeBron and Carmelo and Wade and Bosh and Darko. But we didn't talk about the Kobe that's in that. And we didn't talk about the types of Kobe's that are in it. And if you look in this auction, one of the 9, count it 9, PSA 10s of the 03 Topps Chrome Gold Refractor Kobe, limited to 99 copies. Right, there are 9 PSA 10s is in this auction, and I'm curious. Sure? Yeah, 100% sure. 03
2003 Kobe Gold.
Yep, 2003 Topps Chrome Gold Kobe Refractor.
100%. You're 100% right. It's different. It doesn't. It looks more orange than gold. Doesn't
it does. It does look orange, and I wasn't sure if it was the Topps and Topps Chrome, but it is. It's the Chrome. It's the gold. It's out of 99. Now, the Topps Chrome Golds are interesting, right? Because some of them are out of 50, some of them are out of 99, some years, the whole deal. But this one here, you can see number 62 of 99. Less than the box. I mean, does that, if I put $8,000 in front of you.
This is going to go over 10.
I'm sure. So, all right, so let's say I put $10,000 in front of you. And both of them are the same price. Do you buy the sealed box or do you buy that card? And you're a Kobe fan, so... And is that a Kobe you need to have? Is that a Kobe that's like, all right, Andrew, I'm going to tell you to close your eyes and make your list of need to have Kobe cards. Does that card make it?
I don't want to be a hypocrite. I came on here and said I don't understand the appeal of non-rookie year gold, and I don't understand the appeal of PSA 10. But
that card is nice.
Here's what. Oftentimes, let's say you buy a 1 of 1, and I bought a few of those. Those are much harder to liquidate while also having some sort of like vested interest or stake in the game.
Yep.
Owning a card like this, your money's safe.
Yeah.
And liquid. I think it's liquid, but it's also like a grail, and that at any time you need to, you could get a cash offer for that within 1 to 2 days, right? Whereas so as I'm learning this game, that's a safe place to park money.
I mean, and what's amazing about it, and we see people like Josh Caldwell Chronicles, who's putting together a run of like finest golds and tops of LeBron. There are Kobe collectors. There are high-end Kobe collectors, and to hear that there's only 9 PSA 10s of that card, that there's more than 9 people who are going to want to chase that card. So you put your money in that is a good place to park your money. And, I imagine it's probably not going to be, going down too much from there. Now, I'm not saying it's a guaranteed it's going to go up and all that other fun stuff. So talk to me about Weekly auctions. Previously, the weekly auction was only going to be the same. You had it ended, and then there were periods of extended bidding. And in order for you to bid on the auction during extended bidding, you had to get what I'm going to call a placeholder bid in. Right? Is that fair to call it that? You had to make sure that you bid. So when the auction got into extended bidding, you only had to make sure you bid on it. But if you were in that extended bidding, you were only competing with a universe of people who bid before, right? So also from a steals perspective, right? If you saw an item that had no bids on it and you got a bid in at $9.59, you were winning that. That auction, right? Does this matter to you? What do you think?
Well, nothing really changes. Just the auction. Here are the two big changes. The auction now, instead of ending at 10 p.m. Eastern, ends at 10:30 Eastern. So that's the only difference. And here's where I think there's a cool difference. I think we buy on emotion and we justify with logic. Like that's one of the 201 lessons of sales. People buy on emotion. This is why it's so important. Likability. I like you as a salesperson. You buy on emotion and then you justify with logic. 30 minutes of extended is a lot for weekly.
Ian's getting some Chick-fil-A, by the way.
It's okay.
If you hear that.
30 minutes of extended, in my opinion, for a weekly, not a premiere, is a lot. You could hit the mute, brother. Thank you. Now, basically what happens is the auction ends at 10:30, and as a result, you get 5 minutes of extended instead of 30. That's the only difference.
No, I think that's inaccurate. I think all of the timing is exactly the same. They haven't changed the windows. You get the same extended bidding windows. You get all that fun stuff.
We'll find out this weekend. Not a big deal. Not our concern. The
only difference is you can bid for your first time in the extended period.
Amazing.
That's the only difference.
It's another episode. We love you, Luca Nation.